podcast, big cat in control. Talking professional wrestling from head to toe. New stories, independent wrestling, let's go. Breaking down the matches, analyzing the fights. Big cat's got the scoop, shining the spotlight. From the big leagues to the underdog fight. Purr Sessions got you covered, day and night. With the roar of the crowd, we dive deep inside. Uncovering the secrets we can't hide. Body slams and suplexes, we abide. Purr Sessions where the wrestling truth resides.
Hello. I cut some of the intro off, but hey, we're just still going to go with it. It's okay. My name is Big Cat Tyler. I am your host of the PURR Sessions. I am with my co-hosts today, Samuel Matthews and Levi Spade. Dylan Nix, he could not make it today because we are recording this on a off day. It is Wednesday for us. It will be Friday for you because we want to make sure that even though we won't be here because all of us have shows on Friday and Saturday, we wanted to make sure that you guys had something to look forward to on Friday still. So we're going to do something different than the news. We're still going to keep it wrestling related. However, if you reading from the title, it's a journey into professional wrestling. So we're going to go over each of us, talking about what got us into professional wrestling. I know if you've seen my other content, you probably know a little bit from on the Prowl podcast from Levi Spade and me talking about wrestling. However, we haven't had anything with Samuel Matthews yet. So it's good to know about like us personally, and maybe you haven't caught that podcast, so you're probably learning this for the first time. But before we start, hello Matt. How was your week last week?
It's been interesting. You know, we have a new addition to the Matthews family. So
I'm glad I'm not the only one that will have to run off screen and go take care of their child. So
yes. She's getting a little wiggly right now. I was informed, so that may be coming soon. Where I have to go change some stuff.
How you doing, Levi?
Levi is currently sick, so
we can barely hear Levi.
Yeah,
I can hear Levi.
But Levi is currently sick. He can't speak much louder than this, so.
And it's going to be a quiet show for once there, Sam.
We're gonna
ASMR.
Yeah, it's ASMR.
PURR Sessions ASMR.
It's all good. It's funny because my wife is fighting a sinus infection right now. So, and I have to sleep with a CPAP machine because I'm fat. But last night, because my wife was sick, I slept on the couch and I felt nothing but shit all day too. So I forgot how bad my body hates not being able to breathe in the middle of the night. So
yeah, great. I love this is probably the third or fourth time that I have worked and then gone home and been sick because of work, because I'm the only person that is cleaning or doing anything like health and safety wise at work. So I keep fucking coming home and getting sick and then waking up the next day and feeling like this. So it's fucking great. They're going to really hate me when I show up to work next week because I've got some fucking complaints to make.
Maybe you gotta wear a respirator or whatever while you're fucking, doing your cleaning job or something.
I don't know, bro, but I'm getting really fucking sick of it. This is like the fourth time since I've been out here that I've gone home and been fucking sick because of work.
Full radiation suit, walk in, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
Exactly.
And it's like,
I ain't getting
fuck you
sick
guys.
again.
I'm tired of getting sick.
He friggin' Febrezes everything as he walks through.
Oh shit! So, I guess let's get into it. So I guess we'll start with I know you guys got some questions for yourselves and whatever. I got a few. for myself as well. We get to pull up some videos too, what we
Yeah.
can.
Levi, I know, has a whole notebook of some stuff that he's been working
He's
on.
been working on for himself. Or
Oh no,
for
this is for us. Like this
for
is
us.
like
Oh,
collective.
These are the interview questions.
For the
okay.
future.
For the future. Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with my own question and I'll answer it, and then we can go down the road.
Did you did you see the private chat? I actually did. I remembered a video that I could talk about, so I actually did send a video in the private chat.
I'll pull that up while Samuel's
so you
going
can
over.
ask your question.
I'll pull that up while Samuel is what you said in the private chat. Which one, with Per Sessions or ours?
The chat.
The
chat.
The private chat here. Yeah. I already pulled that. I pulled that.
Oh, fuck it.
I pulled that already.
Okay. Ask your question.
Leave me alone. All right. So starting off with, I know the obvious. What got you guys into professional wrestling? For me, it started at a very young age. I was, I'm pretty sure 2 years old. I actually showed these to the guys. I did my very first wrestling show in Maine. I thought it was in Bangor, but it was in Portland. Like, I don't know if this is 100% accurate as it is, but I think it's pretty close, because my remembrance of the night was that it was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart for the night, but apparently it was not. If going by this, if this is correct, so this is the first show that I went to as a kid, 2 years old, I believe. I didn't remember anything about this at all, except for the last match when Shawn Michaels came out.
Hunter Hearst helped him.
Yeah, obviously I must have remembered one of the Harts coming out, because you see Owen Hart is on there. I don't see any Bret. I could have sworn I saw, like, because my memory was like I said, so this might not be 100% accurate, but my memory was my father brought us to a wrestling show, and at the time I really didn't give a shit about what I was watching. Just letting everything go. I'm 2, right? I just let it go. Like, I wasn't paying attention. I was there just having fun. My father went to the show with I think one of his coworkers at the time, and he had a kid, so we were all playing and having fun until the last match. Like, my memory of this, like I said, I thought it was Shawn versus Bret. So my memory of this is Shawn's music hits, and for some reason, I want to watch this match. So this was the only match of the night, and it was a main event that I actually sat down and watched the full match. Like I said, my memory was it was Bret versus Shawn. The ending was Bret got reversed into a chair that was propped up in the turnbuckle, and then Shawn covered and pinned him 1, 2, 3. It might have been this is what it was for Vader in him, because it says Shawn Michaels defeated Vader. So that match basically got me invested into WWE, because like I said, not only that I sat down and watched this match, my father was also into it. And as a young kid, you want to do a lot of things that your dad enjoys. So I got, like I said, invested in wrestling. Started watching the Attitude Era for probably 2 episodes, then I was banned from watching the Attitude Era. So and then I picked right back up mid 2000s, with the new crew. Triple H was still there, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. I think this time Mick Foley was finally going out, but we had the Radar Superstar, Edge, Ric Flair was there, Batista, John Cena, and this upcoming guy, CM Punk, which I was very invested in Punk, and basically after his match at SummerSlam is basically when I really, really wanted to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the highlight of this match.
This was such a
That way
good
we do
match.
get banned. This match is amazing. Still holds up today.
It was just great storytelling.
It was fantastic storytelling. It was CM Punk was tired of basically being outshadowed by Cena, where he knew that he was the best in the company, and he was tired of getting basically told no by the company and Vince and Triple H, and this match was to prove that not only that he was better than everybody, but he was also walking out as champion.
And his contract was up too, so
Right.
like just skyrocketed everything.
Right. And that was actually a legit shoot. He signed the contract that night.
Yeah.
Because they were onto him about it, because he's talked about it before. He's like, okay, are we going to do this? Because if you don't sign, we're going to have to go this other way. But I think he really wanted to do this. I wish they would have, let him do more things when he was quote unquote out of contract with the belt. Oop, that was he's landing right on his ass. I don't know if that was a botch or not. I don't remember that.
It was. He's not good at that flippy stuff.
He's not good at landing on his feet.
Yeah, but he always tries.
STF. I used to do the STF. Haven't done that in a while.
My problem is it relies too much on the person selling it.
Yes.
Like, because it naturally doesn't look like a painful move.
Well, when you're a 300 plus pound like me, it's kind of hurts for me when I do it. So the selling is real when I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, a lot of times, like, Cena puts them in and they're just half-assed.
That's why if I do bring it back, I want to do the I love that spot when he hit them. I want to do the John Moxley STF where he goes and puts on like a sleeper instead of doing the wrist lock.
That's kind of the way I do it.
Yeah,
I've noticed. I didn't even like really realize it was the STF, but there's a specific thing that I do when I like wrap somebody's legs, and then I'll turn and I'll drop into a sleeper hold, and I never even realized it, but it really is kind of like it's very STF-esque, but I don't keep that crossface with all that distance, because my thing with submissions is as a submission guy, I hate submissions that look fucking fake. I hate submissions that look so I don't do submissions that I'm like, that's not actually going to work, like that. Like all of my submissions I set out to make look like they would actually fucking work in a real fight, or they're submissions that do actually work in a real fight. They're just changed to professional wrestling standards. So the STF is always that fucking crossface bit. There's always so much gap. It looks like shit. But the one that I do with the leg trap, I always sit down and fucking choke hold. So to make it look, it's still a little flashy. It's just, it saves on that fucking looking like shit is doing it in the choke hold.
Well, and like I said, like the John Moxley version of it is that he not only does like the choke hold, but he also like brings him up with it. So you're like, it looks like it's a, oh my God, this sucks, like submission. I like it. But if I can find that, I'll show that in a second. But that's basically it of my journey. Even though that was 2012 and I started wrestling in 2020, I had a lot of personal things going on in my life that I'm not going to get into, but I couldn't do what I wanted to do at that time because I didn't have money or a car or whatever. The only school that was available at that time was IWE for Maine. And like, I don't know if you know Levi, but people have explained back then that the training for the school, it wasn't really even a school. It was more of a, you get to step in the ring with somebody that knows a little bit more than you would know before shows. Like they'd set up the ring 3 or 4 hours before a show, and that was your training for the day. So like Agro would like explained it well. Like he didn't know, and DK, like what makes a better match until he got to wrestle better talent. And like when they go back into the Outback and be like, how was that? And then they go, well, how many years have you wrestled? He goes, well, 5. And he goes, oh, well, that makes sense. And he'd be like, motherfucker, what do you mean that makes sense? And like, because they thought they were doing so great. And then when those guys would explain to him, like, this is what would make the match better, they'd be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes 100% sense. So I feel like if I did, even if at that time did go to IWE, I probably wouldn't have sticked around. I probably would have been like, see you, bye. It just isn't for me. The Limitless Dojo didn't come around till 2016, was it? 2016 was when they first opened.
I think 2016 or 2017.
2016 or 2017 is when they first opened. If I would have known about that, I probably would have been there at that time, because I didn't know about Limitless until 2019, when my brother was talking about like the matches going on. Like at that time, it was DK versus Alexander Lee. You know, that match with the gummy bears and shit like that. And you know, he kept on bringing that up and saying I should go, and looking more into it and shit like that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I wonder if they had a school. And then that's when I found out they did. And I was like, well, it's probably the same thing. It's probably way too expensive out of my price range. And come to find out, Randy Carver Jr. is willing to work with everybody. And it's basically a gym membership payment a month. So being able to do that, and you know, the birth of my son really motivated me into becoming a professional wrestling, because I've always dreamed of being a professional wrestler since 2012. And you know, that feeling as a father, if you know what to do, what can you present to your children, something that will help them succeed in life. And you know, always came back to my mind was follow your dreams. Well, you know, if Dad didn't follow his dreams, why? How the fuck can, you know, you tell somebody else it?
Yeah, that goes into why I ended up starting professional wrestling.
Yeah,
like my wife, I always talked about it, always loved professional wrestling, and she met DK at work and talked to him about wrestling because I was into it, and he was like, oh, you should come to the school and give it a try, and he can just watch and see if he wants something he might be interested in. And I remember it very vividly. I was outside, I was doing something, my wife was talking to me, and she goes, you should really do this. I was like, nah, you know, I'm old, you know, I'm this, I'm that. She goes, well, if you're not gonna do something for yourself now, then when are you?
right.
Exactly. And I was like, well, fuck you, but you're right.
I can say definitely that my wife has been multiple times, you know, the motivation for me to continue wrestling, as well as my kids, before my kids were born. And you know, there's been, I bet you guys had the same thing. Just doing drugs right on the screen.
No,
you know,
it is a vapor inhaler.
I understand.
Just for anybody who is concerned.
I bet you probably both of you guys felt the same way. You know, wanting to, you know, say, you know, fuck this isn't for me anymore. You know, I'm burnt out. I don't want to do this anymore. And you know, my wife being there and be like, nope, you're not quitting. You want to do this. It's rough right now, and if you quit now, you're going to hate yourself basically for the rest of your life. So with that being said, before getting into my story, you know, try to answer questions, stuff like that. Let's go with Samuel. I know you just explained it a little bit, but do you have any more detail of like when was your first match that you've got into it, and then finally getting into?
So I remember like growing up, I was always my dad loved professional wrestling as well, so I always had exposure. But it was always like whoever my dad liked, I liked. Whoever he didn't like, I didn't like. I liked the generic baby face, hated the heel. Like, I broke a TV at a very young age when The Undertaker was doing his Ministry of Darkness gimmick and he beat Stone Cold. Like, I broke a TV. I was really upset.
You just reminded me of something. I'm going to see if I can find it. Keep going.
So I was really upset as a young child, as a young Samuel Matthews. And the child has awoken. Anyway, let me finish this real quick. And then so one of the first matches that I really got into where I realized that wrestling was more than just good versus bad was HBK versus Shawn Michaels when HBK versus Triple H when Triple H turned on HBK. Like, that was earth-shattering. And it had one of the, like, it was the promo video itself that made me be like, damn, there is something special about wrestling. Because, like, this video has lived rent-free in my head since this came out in, geez, when did it come out? I know I sent you the video, but I do not remember when that video was.
It was 2006, I believe, is when he came back.
2002.
2002. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2002.
Yeah, so this video has lived rent-free inside my head for 23 years.
2006 is when they became DX again, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's play this video.
Definitely.
Well, this plays. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I feel like these promos like fucking hit a lot harder than.
It was the video packages.
Yeah.
Their video packages from that time period were just unmatched.
Oh, it's so good.
The Rock one with My Way or the Highway was that's another one that's just so dirty.
That one, like I said, the Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker when Shawn Michaels lost the first year and then trying to get that win back. That was a fucking good promo. One of my favorite promos.
So good.
Just when it just starts off with them at the awards show, whatever. I wish they would bring that back because I think that's kind of neat. At that time, you could vote for like your favorite matches and shit like that. Obviously, it was probably skewed a little for storyline for that one, like with Sean. But I thought it was pretty cool. Like even like Cyber Monday or Cyber whatever it's called.
Tuesday, yeah.
Cyber Tuesday.
Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah, that the fans would actually be able to vote what match they want to see. Which the wrestler said it was a ginormous clusterfuck because you didn't know if you were wrestling or not. You were there, so you're like, okay, I might have a match tonight. I might not have a match tonight. I might be wrestling 4 matches tonight.
They worked around that a little bit by going in like, oh, wrestler A is going to wrestle B in a no-holds-barred match.
Yeah.
A falls count anywhere match or a hardcore match.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So is that basically that's basically it for your
so that really got me like hyped for wrestling. I always wanted to do it. I fell out of wrestling for a hot minute and just
I think we all have. Yep.
Watched it passively, and the one that really brought me back into professional wrestling is Bray Wyatt. So there's a connection there for me. And I've always enjoyed spooky characters as well to an extent. There was just a level of viciousness and it just I always wanted to do it, and finally it just was time to do something for myself, stop making excuses, and now here I am with a completely changed human being.
And you're doing great. We've all, like I said, not to, toot your own horn, but toot. We've all seen you do very well since you've been here, and I feel like with you continue on the way that you're doing, you're gonna be a damn good performer.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do.
So I guess it's your turn, Levi. What got you into this?
I mean, I've always said my earliest memory when it comes to wrestling is when I was real young. My parents used to buy the pay-per-views. Like, we didn't really watch wrestling like cable wise, but we'd always watch the pay-per-views. And then, like, my dad's side of the family would come over, and we'd have big fucking pay-per-view parties.
Yep. We used to do that with WrestleMania.
The earliest thing I can remember, and I can't tell you what show, I can't tell you. I think I was around 8, but that don't mean shit. I can't tell you I can't tell you fucking anything except for the fact that I was sitting in front of our TV and it was a pay-per-view, and I remember Kane, and this is when Kane, when his pyro, they would put the red tint on his entrance.
Oh, so this is still Mass Kane, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So he'd have the pyro, and it would be the red tint, and it was fucking pitch black in the living room. We were all sitting there watching, and I just remember sitting in front of the TV and watching my whole fucking living room turn red because of this red tint glaring off the TV. It was so fucking wild, and I don't know. I always felt drawn to it. My dad was a big wrestling fan. Like, we used to have yard sales and stuff, and they literally had like Undertaker and Kane walkie-talkies that we had for a long time, and I used to like beg my parents to give me them, not even because they were walkie-talkies, just because I remembered Kane, and I always was like, I don't know who the fuck this is, I don't know who the fuck Kane is, I don't know who the fuck Undertaker is, but I want these. But when it comes to, but then I felt like all of us, I fell out of wrestling. It wasn't really cool, and I didn't really, it wasn't really something that you talked about. So then what really got me back into wrestling was after my parents got divorced. My grandmother had moved out, so she was living on her own, and she had finally gotten cable. And one of the like first people that I remember, it like became me and my grandmother's thing, because my mom would work late on Friday nights, so we used to, like, me and my little brother would go over and we would spend Friday night into Saturday morning because my mom was always working late. So we used to watch Friday Night SmackDown at her house. So that was like the first, and this was during, I don't even remember when. I sent you a promo video because the first person that I remember being drawn towards was Bray Wyatt. I loved Bray Wyatt. And then I remember, like, when the Wyatt family disbanded and the Bludgeon Brothers became a thing, I loved the Bludgeon Brothers. So it was always, like, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was my shit.
So, sorry not to cut you off, but so this would be, what, 14, 15, you getting back into wrestling for Bray Wyatt?
Age-wise, yes. I think so. I was around that age, yeah. And it became something. I was very close with my grandmother. I was always very close to my grandmother. So it just became our thing. Friday nights we were over at her house. We watched SmackDown. That was our thing. So it just became, at first, just became a thing with me and my grandmother. I didn't really talk about it outwardly. It was just something that I did on Fridays. It's actually the inspiration behind kind of what Levi Spade is my grandmother hated heels like you're supposed to, but she specifically hated managers. She fucking hated the fact that heels would cheat to win, and that refs wouldn't see it. She would yell at the fucking TV because she hated managers. So it kind of became the inspiration for the seeds of the beginning of what Levi Spade became, which was kind of this bounty hunter-esque, like, I'm going after all the fucking heels because, like, and then it grew into I'm an actual fighter and I don't like disrespect. And now out here, I've been advertising a lot on social media that I am Primos Pro Wrestling's protector because I've been, I'm winning and I'm beating down heels and whatever. And it's kind of where those seeds started was the fact that my grandmother fucking hated heels and hated the fact that they could cheat and hated managers and hated the fact that people would, the managers would get thrown out, but then they'd come running back down to the ring 20 minutes, 15 minutes later and fucking cost the good guy the match. My grandmother hated that shit. And I always was like, if I ever do this as a job, that's going to be my character. That's going to be my gimmick. My gimmick is going to be, I don't like disrespect. I despise disrespect. So I'm going to beat the shit out of whoever's disrespecting the fans or the business or whatever it is. And then, so now I didn't really get to do that a lot back home because I was a heel. But,
I was going to say, wait a minute.
But out here, I kind of have begun trying to sow those seeds because I would like to bring more of that character to light because it was something that I had always said, especially after she passed. I was always like, if I do this, because this wasn't my original plan. My original plan was I wanted to go into the Marines. I was going to do X, Y, and Z, but I have a medical issue with my hearing, so I couldn't, join the Marines. And I remember the day, like, I was always like, I really like professional wrestling, so maybe I'll do it as like a hobby, but the Marines were my first choice. And then I remember the day that I was training with some Marines and one of the sergeants told me, he was like, I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't care if you keep coming here and training with us, but you're never going to be able to join with your issues. If you don't figure out something else, like some other way to fix your issues, you're never going to be able to join up. And I went home so fucking defeated because of that. And I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do with my life. Like I literally had no other plans. And it was just one of those things where I was like, you know what, I really like professional wrestling. So let's, fuck it. If I can't join the Marines, maybe I'll be a wrestler. And then it just so happened that corresponded with Scumbag opening up a new school in Biddeford, which was very close to my house. And he opened up that school, extorted a bunch of us for over $200 a month worth of money. And he was a ginormous scumbag that if I ever saw again, I'd beat the ever-loving shit out of. And in fact, doesn't show his face in the area anymore because after the whole school fiasco, everybody found out just how much of a fucking scumbag he was. But he gave me that school gave me the opportunity to step in the ring with Adam Booker as my trainer. So Adam Booker trained me for the early couple months of my training. And then the school shut down. This was in the middle of COVID. So the school shut down. And then I went from that school. I took almost a year off of professional wrestling, not really thinking that there was another school in the area. And then I actually ended up going to a Cousin Larry's show, and kind of because that was also in my area because it was very local to the area that I lived. And I ended up finding him on Facebook. His Facebook still said that he owned a school. So I texted him, shot him a message a few different times and was like, hey, like it still says you own a school. I'm trying to find more information, et cetera, et cetera. And he finally answered me and was like, well, I don't own a school anymore, but the only school that's really in this area, but I can recommend you to the Limitless Dojo. And then from there, it was kind of, I had just gotten my first car. I had just gotten my license. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to fucking do this. And the Limitless Dojo was a 3-hour drive away from my house. And so I got a new job. I had gotten a brand new job as cashier. And I worked Monday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tuesday through Thursday, I was 3 hours away from home in an area that I had never been. I never traveled away from home and spent the night without somebody like around. And I slept in my car for the first probably, I think, 2 months that I did that before other arrangements started getting made, but I traveled for pretty much half a week, 3 hours away from my home in an unfamiliar place, and slept in the parking lot. And then I'd sleep in the parking lot, and then I'd go into the dojo, and I'd go into the dojo 3 hours before class time, and I'd hit the ropes, I'd do rolls, I'd do ups and overs, I'd do whatever the fuck I could. And then I would train, and then everybody would leave, and I'd be the last one to leave, so I'd lock up, and then I'd go back in my car, make myself comfortable in my trunk, and go back to sleep. So I'd drive up on
trunk.
Oh yeah, because I had like a hatchback Yaris. It was a nice little car. I loved it.
Okay.
So
you rolled it
until I rolled it. So yeah, it was a nice little hatchback Yaris. So the trunk, put the back seats down. Basically half the fucking car was a bed. So I used to put the back seats down, and actually it got to the point where I never needed the back seats anyway. So I would just leave the back seats down, and I never used them, and then I wouldn't have to fucking fiddle with it at the end of training. I would just, change into my pajamas once everybody was gone, and I'd get in my car and shut the doors and lock them all because I was in the middle of fucking Brewer in a parking lot in an industrial complex. So I was like, yep, not leaving these unlocked. And I had a big fucking knife in my passenger side thing. So I had a big knife right there.
Yep, I remember.
The way that I slept, I had a big knife that would sit right there. That way, if anything ever did fucking happen while I was laying there, I had it right there to grab. And I did that for probably 2 months before other arrangements.
Before Randy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm gonna go sleep in my car so that way I don't have to drive back. Randy's like, why?
Well, yeah. Well, the
sleep
thing
in the dojo.
The thing is I was supposed to. I have a friend that lives in Ellsworth, and the original plan was I was supposed to go up there on Tuesdays, and then I would spend Tuesday night and Wednesday night with him. But that was before I had realized that Ellsworth was another hour and a half away from the dojo. Yeah. So I was like, I went there once to hang out with him, and then I was like, yeah, fuck this. I can't afford to fucking drive 3 hours to the dojo, and then an hour and a half to Ellsworth, and then back, and then back, and then back, and then back home. So I just slept in my car until Ace Romero figured out that I was sleeping in my car and told Randy. And Randy was like,
yeah, I remember that.
Fuck?
It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
I literally remember it was him and Ace were walking out the door, and Randy was like, hey, what's your sleeping arrangements or whatever? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, I might go to my friend's house or whatever. And he's like, well, have you been sleeping in your car? And I was like, yeah. I was just, and he's like, fucking sleep in here. You don't need to fucking sleep in your car because that was October. I started in October of 2021 at the dojo, so it was getting winter time. Yeah. So I was sleeping in that Yaris in the middle of winter.
I was there for that conversation. Like, there's a couch, buddy. Just crash inside. Don't.
And then Ace kind of gave me a sly wink, and I questioned him about it. And he was like, yeah, I figured out you were sleeping in your car one night that we were pulling away, and I saw you in your pajamas climbing into your trunk and talk to Randy about it. And I was like, well, I appreciate it because it was starting to get cold, but the Marines didn't work out. I didn't have, other than just, work like a retail job or whatever, I didn't have any other things. Right. I didn't have any other inspirations. I didn't like anything else besides, I like mixed martial arts, but I wasn't a sports guy in high school. I was an MMA guy. I learned MMA stuff. I wasn't a sports guy in high school, so it's not like I had a sport to fall back on, or I didn't even have a career. We had a trade school but I didn't go to the engineering or the welding or whatever. So I literally had nothing to fall back on. The only thing I could think, especially after I lost my grandmother, was that's why professional wrestling means. Partly why it means so much to me, because it was such a deep connection with my grandmother, who I was extremely close with. So when she passed in 2019 because of her accident, it became the only thing that I found myself enraptured in watching wrestling, just for the memories of the short amount of time I got to watch wrestling with her before her accident. And then I became a wrestler, and now everything that I do, everything that I've accomplished, I always I'm like, it isn't for me. It's because she was the first person that I told when I was shortly before she passed. She was the first person that I told that I was I think maybe I can do this. Like, I think I have this school that's in the area, and I think maybe this, this could be something. And it's because I trusted her, and I knew that she would support me for it. So then she passed, and now it's like everything that I accomplish, I'm like, it's not because of me. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. I don't know where the fuck I'd be if it wasn't for her giving me professional wrestling as the out. I don't know where the fuck I'd be. So I dedicate everything that I've done to her and everything that I've accomplished to her, because I wouldn't have accomplished any of it if I hadn't told her and she hadn't been like, okay. If like, she was from Mass, so it was one of the, she was like, okay, like, if you think you can do it,
right. And people don't understand too, like, with not just your driving thing, it's not only you're 3 hours away. At that point of time, it was 2021, right, is when you came. Still COVID, in classes at that time. The trainers, was more flexible, but the classes usually start between 6 and 7.
Oh yeah, so I was 3 hours away with no money because I just started a new job, so I had no money. So I was 3 hours away with no money, no friends, no way to get back and forth to home. Yes. Like, yeah. But I was doing it because I knew it was my opportunity. I knew it was the only chance I had. And I'll never forget the fucking. I drove up to the dojo that first Tuesday. Hadn't been put in the group chat. Hadn't found Randy on Facebook. Hadn't been given any of that information. Agro had a family emergency and class got canceled. So I drive 3 hours away for the first time in my life, get all the way to the dojo, and I can't get in. I can't see the ring. I can't fucking get in touch with anybody, because the only way I could text people was the only way I could get in contact with Randy was through email. So
at that point,
I got all the way up there with no ability to, it would have been stupid to drive all the way back because I knew Wednesday they were supposed to be another class. So I got all the way up there, and I really thought it was it was an omen. At that point, I was so I really thought it was it was like the universe telling me that this was not the move, and I should quit now before I even started. And thankfully, I had friends at the time that were like, dude, just fucking relax, chill in your car, fucking go to sleep, wait and see if people fucking show up tomorrow. And luckily, by the time I'd gotten up on Wednesday, Randy had finally fucking responded to my email, and he was like, oh shit, about that. So our trainer had an emergency. We'll be in tonight at X, Y, and Z time. Sorry about that.
Funny thing is, I was also there too, and didn't read the fucking chat, and showed up and the only time I'm on time, there's no class tonight. Yeah, motherfucker.
Because you're never on time.
I am never on time.
But anyway, the promo video that I popped up is one that I remember. So after I started watching with my grandmother on TV, I started going to YouTube, and I watched a lot of old Attitude Era stuff. That's The Undertaker's my all-time favorite wrestler, but specifically the American Badass Undertaker.
Yeah, my Undertaker.
Again, specifically the American Badass Undertaker, but I specifically can remember this promo sticking with me, and it's what made Bray Wyatt one of my all-time favorites.
I just want to say, just for the record, and just because, this is Samuel Matthews' hot take for this week.
You just wanted me to play the fucking intro, didn't you? You just wanted me to play it.
Samuel Matthews' hot take.
I was going to fit it in somewhere. The Ministry of Darkness Undertaker was peak Undertaker.
I like that one, but I think the American Badass one is one of my favorites too as well.
It was good, but there was something about the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker that was just it was something different, man.
You mean putting people on the cross or whatever and hanging them from the ceiling, or hanging Big Boss Man from the Hell in the Cell?
What's funny about that is I like stables and creepy stable, like the Wyatt family, one of the all-time greatest stables ever. I love them. Like I like stables like that. When it comes to the Ministry of Darkness, I don't fucking like it. Like I've watched all the old shit with the Ministry of Darkness from the moment it came, like it was concepted to the moment that it died. I don't like it. I don't know why. It just doesn't connect with me. I don't.
It was a different time,
and it was dark as shit.
Yeah. It was extra dark, and like I said, I broke a TV because of that version of The Undertaker.
It was with the Click and what was Taker's group that
BSK.
he was with? Yeah, BSK. And that was definitely like a different time and like ooh. But yeah, I definitely like the American Badass one. I also like the After American Badass as well. I think that was really good.
Yeah, I like the hybrid. I do. I like the fact that he kept the promo ability. Like they let him keep the ability to cut promos, like he was doing with the American Badass. Because beforehand, he hadn't really done promos, not the way that he did as the American Badass and then as the hybrid Taker.
Because of my Undertaker.
All right, let's play this package before we fucking. I'm gonna keep playing it, but I want to make sure that they don't get mad at me. Cool story is the debut of Bray Wyatt. I was actually at that show, at the house show, before he actually went on Raw. And everyone was like, "What the? Who is this character?" Because he came out with the originally, like the OG Bray Wyatt was the fucking like the Hawaiian shirts
and the rocking chair.
No rocking chair yet. No rocking chair yet. It was a Hawaiian shirt, and I don't even remember if he had the hat or not. But like I remember we're all like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" and like when he did his finish, it's like, did you just kiss him before he fucking knocked him the fuck out? What is this? Who is this guy? Like
he was very Waylon Mercy in the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the character was based off of to begin with. So it really was just he just really took Waylon Mercy, revived that character, and then just kind of naturally let things evolve until he figured out his own like how to make it different.
Right. I loved the Waylon Mercy promo when he was like, "I'm a what a picnic is all about."
The old promos when he was doing the really fucking hard Bayou accent, they're beautiful.
Is that the Husky Harris fucking shit, or is that like
this is Waylon Mercy?
Yeah,
Waylon
Mercy was old. I don't even remember how old. I want to say 50s or 60s, and he was kind of the same.
Oh, that's right. He took his yes, that's right.
Yeah,
I remember
and
that.
then Wyatt took the gimmick. But when Wyatt, when they were figuring out the gimmick in NXT, the documentary of Bray Wyatt that's on Peacock from WWE, and it's the only time I'll ever plug one of WWE's things, but it legit made me cry because I love Bray Wyatt so much. They include some of the early NXT like backstage at training promo classes, and Bray used to do a really, really thick Louisiana Bayou accent because he thought that's that was who the character was, so he was gonna stick to this accent. And by the time he made it to TV, I think it even says in the documentary at some point that Dusty was like, "You just not fucking do the accent, stop."
Well, he was also originally in a stable. I can't remember. I wanted to say it was Nexus, but I don't think that's correct. It was Nexus. Okay,
Husky Harris.
Husky Harris was in Nexus, and then got brought back down to FCW.
Right.
And he had like a fucking Jason Voorhees mask, and that I can't remember the name of the character, but it was kind of the beginnings of the Bray Wyatt stuff.
Wyatt, right?
The Jason Voorhees mask gimmick didn't work, so then he kind of stopped for a little bit, just kept going to training and promo classes and stuff, and then I don't remember exactly the story, but he ended up like realizing that maybe there was something in this thing that he was working on, and then started coming to promo classes and doing the cryptic Bayou cult leader, Waylon Mercy style. And Dusty was like, "You got something. You fucking got something."
Right. I fucking miss Bray Wyatt too.
I still haven't been able to watch the
I haven't finished it, but I got halfway. But yeah, it was
I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it.
I get it because it took me I think 2 weeks after it came out until I finally sat down on one of my days off and was like, fuck, okay, here we go. And my girl can attest, I think I was 15 minutes in, and I started crying. I was like,
I know it's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
I can barely like. I read something that like JoJo posted yesterday, and like halfway through, like I
Oh,
was
you talking
in
about
tears.
the moth thing?
Yeah, like I was
She was
in
visited
tears. Like
by
I
a
couldn't
moth.
even finish
Yeah.
reading it to Shelby.
Yeah.
Like tears are just streaming down my face.
It's Wyatt and Brody Lee's deaths both affected me very,
Oh,
very heavily because of
yeah.
they were like I said, they were the characters that were like on TV partly the most that me and my grandmother were both like, holy shit, like all the Firefly stuff. I remember like I would go to my grandmother's house sometime during the week and I would update her about what happened on the Firefly Funhouse because she would like fall asleep and miss it. So I would go and be like, or at like pay-per-views that she couldn't watch. I would be like, Bray Wyatt did this and this happened and this happened. And I used to explain to her the storylines. So after she passed, it was like Bray and Brody are my shit, and now they're with them both being gone. I think I talked about it either last week or the week before about the fact that I plan on getting Wyatt's lantern
The
tattooed,
tattoo.
and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have it say it's gonna say you know what that means underneath, and have the Wyatt family logo. And it's because the Wyatt family meant so much to me, and Brody and Bray specifically. One of the things that I want to start doing as a finisher is going to be a tribute to Bray and Brody.
Yeah. And the sad part is like it's like both those guys like very loved in the wrestling community, big
Yeah.
family mans, and both of them died unexpectedly. And I think if I remember correctly, it was some kind of heart issue for both of them that sadly passed away.
Yeah, it was.
And with even with Brody, like only selected few knew what was going on at that time that he sadly passed, and Bray was he was working his way up. Like I said, I haven't watched the full documentary. I don't know if they talked about him supposed to be coming back and then he couldn't because of his heart problems. But yeah, it's very sad when like guys like this that are very inspirational pass away, and it's good that like guys like Levi and me and Samuel. I don't know if you I can't remember if you said that you took inspiration from
Yeah,
from Bray.
absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
keep the memory going. It's very, very nice. I know for a while I still have it on my my jacket. One of the Wyatt family patches. I know that Levi had one too at one point.
I have them. They're either in my wallet or they are still running around in my gear bag.
Somewhere.
I still have them. I just don't have anything to put them on. But like, I've got a little drawer right here.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why. Hang on.
You can't. Okay.
I can't see him.
You can't see. Hold on. I got this.
There it is.
Okay, you got. I was gonna say. Hold.
When we became the Lovecraft family, we started doing this. I think this was my idea. No offense, but
no, the Lovecraft family was definitely your idea of.
Well, no. Don't put the whole Lovecraft family.
No. I mean, like
the idea of the
forward.
Bray Wyatt. Right after Bray passed, I had come up with the idea of starting to do the. I would kneel in the middle, and you guys would do the shoulder thing because it was our way. And I think the show. Literally, there was a Let show right after Bray had passed, and that was the first show that we did it on. And it was because we had the patches. Because I remember we did it, and we were in the ring, and Hardcam was on us and everything. And right as the beat dropped in our song, I pounded the fucking mat as hard as I could, and kind of pointed my wrist wraps towards the Hardcam to try and catch the patches, and pointed up in the sky because we had Brody and Bray patches on. And that was the first show that we did it, and I think that's how the idea came about because there just happened to be a show right after it happened, and I was like, let's fucking do this, guys. It was like, I'm gonna kneel, and you guys fucking come over and do the shoulder thing, and then it just became our thing because we were trying to, we all, me, you, and Dylan, and of course Sam. Now that he said it, we all took something from Bray and Brody. So we in a 3-man stable tried to carry that on.
Right. But I'm saying it's like the Lovecraft family itself, the original idea was like more of a Wyatt family type,
Yeah.
The inspiration of that. So yeah, definitely you definitely did do the kneeling like right at that, because we even talked about even like doing like a whole Lovecraft family inspiration of the Wyatt family coming out with like because Brody and I can't remember his tag team. I'm sorry.
Eric.
They yeah,
Oh
Eric
yeah,
Rowan
we had
would
talked
come out.
about
Yeah, we
doing.
talked about doing
That's
the
right.
metal shirts and stuff like that, and as
Yeah,
well
we
as
had
the
talked about
lantern.
doing. Yeah, you and Dylan were gonna get. You and Dylan were gonna get masks. Like you got your mask, but
Yeah,
Dylan was gonna get another mask that was the full face one.
right,
And then I literally went looking for an oil lantern because I was gonna carry one
right,
out at the show right after, at the Let show that it happened right after.
right. And we was gonna
Show
do
was
match. We were gonna have like metal shirts because that's what they wore like towards the end of the Wyatt family. That like they
Yeah.
came out with like different metal bands and shit like that. Just an inspiration of that. But yeah. Do you want to finish this promo really quick, or do you want to get to the next question?
Oh,
I,
we can go to the next lesson. I'm trying to find.
we are already at
think
an
this is the
hour.
show.
Just
Yeah.
be
I
mindful.
figured we'd answer one more question. We call
Okay.
it. I know it's we usually do 3 hours, but guys, we're
It's a
all
special
working men.
edition.
It's a
Samuel
school
Matthews
night.
is a new father. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a special edition.
it's a
It's a
I
special.
was
school
only
night.
thinking 40 to 45 minutes, but you said an hour. Dude, it's not that difficult to click on the one.
Shut the fuck up.
It's not that difficult to click on this one.
I misclick. Leave me alone. Let's do one more question and then we'll end it. By the way, if you're watching this is after um Bell to Bell promotions that me and Nick's, as well as I think Sam, you're gonna be at that one too, right?
I will
Samuel
be.
Matthews of that. So hopefully it was a good show. Next day, Saturday, is the MEW show. Same location, Franklin. June 8th at that time. So hopefully you guys go out and see that. I know that you have a show as well there, Levi, on Saturday, right? Or Sunday? Or is
Not
that
this week. I have a
not this week?
show. I have a show next
Is
week.
it next
on
week?
Sunday,
Next week.
yes.
Okay. Next week you have a show. So let's before Sam falls asleep on his fucking chair, let's just
I know,
do
man.
one more. Let's just do one more question, and then, or do you just want to call it there?
No, I'll do one more question.
Okay. All right. Why don't you pull up something that you think that we should answer there, Levi, since you wrote down a bunch
I
of
mean,
them.
I've got. Let's see. Well, we answered one and kind of answered two, so I've got 3 through 11. So
Let's just do one.
no. I mean, I have
Oh, okay.
3 through 11 for questions. So, what about this one? Because this is the one I've been sitting on. Your favorite wrestling move or finisher is one of the ones that I have for quick fire questions.
Yeah, so let's that's a good one to end it off, dude. GTS was originally going to be my finish, and then realizing that I was a big guy, it made zero fucking sense. So GTS was original, and then it was supposed to be the AA. That was what I was going to do as well, the attitude
Death Valley
adjustment.
Driver.
Death Valley Driver. Then found out that everybody fucking does one. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So it switched to the finish that I actually loved. The original finish was the catnap, which was the full Nelson spike, basically. Fucking, because me and Alexander Lee were trying to go over like matches, and he was trying to like help me out with a spot, and this came out like organically that move, the catnap. So that became my finish for one show. And then the great thing about Limitless Wrestling is you have a lot of the upper talent have no problem pulling you aside and discussing like what they feel like, how your match went, and maybe you could do better. Alec Price pulled me aside and said, hey, that's pretty cool, but I don't see you as a big guy. You know, yours should be more impactful. And so I went originally with the next best thing, which I thought was it was the F5, which was, I called it the All Nine Lives. And botched that terribly in the match because I was terrified of hitting the water system because we were doing it this time in Brewer. It's still a little bit almost COVID's almost over, so we can't have a huge building. So we had to have a smaller building, and the ceiling was basically a little bit past my fingertips. So I was definitely terrified of swinging Alexander Lee over and him kicking out one of the piping. So I botched the shit out of that. And, I scrapped that anyways because we had another wrestler in Limitless at the time that was starting to do the F5. So all right, I guess we're going to get rid of that. So I ended up one day just doing the World's Strongest because it was just like a kind of a
great transitional move.
Yeah, transitional move.
Right.
And then I started doing that, and
In fact,
I enjoy that.
Transitional move.
What's that?
I said, in fact, it's the best transitional move.
Right, that everybody fucking does.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why I'm getting rid of it.
Move. Dude, I wrestled a guy this past Sunday. Fucking awesome match. I can't wait to go over it next week on the pod. Fucking great match. But I wrestled him, and he gave me one chop. And then we went backstage, and he was like, sorry about that chop. I tend to ask people, like, if they're good with chops or not, but I forgot. I laughed in his face, and I went, dude, I'm from the East Coast. It's the only fucking strike anybody knows out there. I couldn't tell you the amount of times that this chest has been chopped.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
So what about you, Sam? What's your
Spine Buster.
Ooh.
As a finish? Okay.
No,
it was favorite wrestling move or finish or favorite wrestling move.
My favorite wrestling move is hands down the Spine Buster. It is
which version?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
All of them look just nasty. If they're done right,
nasty.
If they're done right, they just look disgusting. My favorites that I've seen through the years, I love the Arn Anderson and the one that Triple H does, and then I love Batista's.
Farouk's is my favorite.
Batista's always looked so good.
Farouk's my favorite. It's just because it always looked like when he lifted him up, he just fucking spiked him in the fucking ground. And what about finish? Do you have a favorite finish, whatever?
Man, I am a huge fan of, in the practicality of it, the RKO.
Sad part is everybody fucking does it on the indies.
Correct. And the reason I say in the practicality of it is because it can be hit from literally anywhere, and it has some of the coolest setups, but everybody fucking does it. Right. Everybody.
The weird thing about that too is that I've never seen people do the diamond cutter, the setup for the diamond cutter, because that whole setup was completely because Diamond Dallas Page, he had an actual like setup for the cutter. He how he'd set up would like lock it in and then go for the fucking go for the ride. And Randy just cut that out, and his looks awesome too. But that's the weird thing. Like you always see the RKO, you never see the.
When Randy first started to use it, he would grab them by the neck, and then he would run out and then hit it.
Right.
So it's evolved over the years to being just him jumping
into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's evolved. It's Randy Orton. I friggin' remember when he used the ozone as a finish.
Oh fuck! I can't remember what that one is.
It was the same thing as like the playmaker. You take the guy's arm, you have it up in the air, you put their head like behind your knee, and then you face bump, and they like land their neck. And
okay.
It's the stupidest move in the world. Randy Orton looked dumb doing it. So, all right, Levi.
He's so tired. He's so tired. Welcome to being a dad, asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, Cat kind of went over it, but I feel like favorite move. I love a good arm drag. I don't know what it is about it, but I love a good arm drag, like a good arm, like fucking a steamboat arm drag or a fucking. Like a technical wrestler's arm drag. Mm-hmm. I just really fucking dig a good arm drag. It's super easy to take. It's not anything huge, but it just looks and it sounds so good. So move wise, I think I got on drag. Finisher wise, fuck if I know, dude. I have. I mean, if I'm just.
Mask.
I mean, yeah. If I'm just tooting my own horn, I feel like Demon's Run is not a totally original finisher, but the way that I hit it and the way that I can
It's
do
different.
it, I feel like it's different and it looks really good. But
to
I
me-
mean, modern day wrestling, I'm a submission wrestler too, so pretty much any submission that actually looks like a submission. But modern day Malachi Black's one of my biggest inspirations and favorite wrestlers. So if I had to choose one, then it would probably be the spinning heel kick, just because it's a real strike that can knock you the fuck out. And it looks more or less, as long as the person that is taking it knows what they're doing, it looks fucking gross. But moves that can't be botched as easily, I feel like I gotta toot my own horn and just say Demon's Run is one of my favorite, at least one of my favorite finishers that I've ever seen. I spike it really nice. I spin it really nice. I'm super nice with it. For me, I'm going to be egotistical, and it's one of my favorite things that I do. I've been big right now on the Emerald Flosion, which is a move that was used in Japan by a legendary Japanese wrestler that I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of. But, oh yeah, this is my fucking, play the gross fucking black mask I hit.
Yeah, was it the first one?
Yeah.
Right in the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so gross. So good. That's like one of my favorite times that you've actually hit it.
Yeah, I've hit it a few crisper times. I have to be
Just
in there.
the reaction of him, of how when he takes it.
I got to be in there with the right person.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing with the black mask, is you got to be in there with the right person, because if you're not in there with the right person and the person doesn't know how to sell it or take it or whatever it is, it will look like shit. It will be botched. Right. You'll whiff. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Everybody's seen Malachi Black do it. It's because it's so easy to whiff on it, because if you're in there with somebody that you don't trust to take it, then you're gonna pull it. You're gonna pull it back. You're gonna not want to throw it, because if you throw it and they can't protect themselves, they don't know how to take it, you're gonna not legitimately knock somebody out. So
right.
Another move that looks absolutely fucking disgusting is Kenny Omega's V trigger.
The one winged angel is also one of my favorites, and that's just
the
because
angel is fucking dope.
Once again,
looks so impactful.
Oh yeah, once again, I mean, Omega's got one of the prettiest knee strikes in the game, and the one winged angel is once again so easy. It's literally just a fucking Samoan driver, except he does it out of an electric chair. And even on a lot of the times that he hits it, I was telling some of the guys that are training this, if you watch, puts him in the electric chair, and then he moves the leg out of the way,
right,
and grabs their head, and it's basically a fireman. It's just the fireman carry Samoan driver.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And by the time he grabs your head, you're basically laying in a fireman carry, and then it's just a Samoan driver. See, that's a fireman carry.
He just flips you over.
Yeah.
It's dope.
But it's
dope
so
as shit.
nasty.
It is so nasty.
But it's great. It looks
His
nasty. It's been protected.
Is disgusting too.
Oh yeah, the V hit again. One of the most.
I wish it was protected more.
Right.
Yeah, as a signature, it is. It's a little like. That one was sloppy.
That one's sloppy too. What's the fuck's with the sloppy ones? Damn it!
There's one where the guy
way he impacts himself off of.
There we go. That was good.
And falls over him to me.
This one. Boom! The one that he does when their back is on the ropes and he fucking comes flying in and.
Fucking gross. Boom.
That one.
Yes.
That's one of the good ones.
Boom. Those are the good ones.
Good. All right, so I'm gonna plug my shit and then I gotta get out of here.
Okay. Yeah. Let's all plug our shit and get out of here.
All right. So you can find me at Samuel Matthews Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook now.
Yay!
Bang, bang. So there's that for you. That's all my shit. I got shows Friday, Saturday. I got show at the end of the month. I can't remember the date right now. I think it's the 22nd.
And August 24th, a live show of live audience PURR Sessions.
Yes.
Which maybe I really want to see if we can get Levi to get there. Like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, but I really want Levi to be there.
He's got to wake up first and stop being sick.
Yeah. Sure.
Sure. All right, Levi, plug your shit.
At Levi Spade 1 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, of course, at brainbustertees.com/Levi Spade. I have a show coming up on Juneteenth, so June 15th. And then I have a show on June 30th. I think there's a show somewhere in between there, but I can't remember the date off the top of my head, and I got distracted and forgot to look the dates up. So I do know, however, June 30th is a fucking hell, what did he call it? Ratified air, because Richard Holiday is going to be at the Roxy Theater in Denver. So that's cool. Little piece of
That's
home.
gonna be sick.
Yeah, that's cool. Little piece of home coming out to Colorado since I last saw him at Limitless. So that'll be cool. So Richard Holiday is going to be there, and also Jasmine St. Clair, ECW legend Jasmine St. Clair is also going to be there. So
Sweet.
that is a already stacked show, and all the Primos favorites and stuff are going to be there as well. So that's on June 30th. So stay tuned for more podcast episodes where I talk more about dates that I actually can remember. My sick ass is going to go to sleep.
All right. I think we're all going to go to bed. But
.com/Levi Spade.
There you go.
.com/Tears Gaming, because I've been meaning to start plugging my Twitch channel too.
Oh, there you go. Fuck Twitch.
TYRS Gaming. TYRS Gaming. You'll know it's me, trust me.
Obviously, Big Cat Tyler Adams on everything but Twitter and Facebook. It's Tyler Adams. TikTok, Instagram. Same Big Cat Tyler Adams. You can find me, like I said, you saw me hopefully tonight at Bell to Bell. And then tomorrow will be MEW, same place. And then we have a bunch of dates. June 22nd, Let's Wrestle.
That's right.
And then June 28th as well for MPW. And then August, again, live show, MPW, PURR Sessions. Hopefully,
Boom.
Everybody's there. I'm really hoping we can get Levi to fly down, or one of us will just have to drive and pick your ass up or something.
Yes,
spend the 3 days fucking get you.
Drive across country, 4-day drive.
Yeah,
4-day drive, cross country, 12
Nebraska
states.
is terrible.
Do it.
Nebraska is hell. I've made that drive from Denver to Maine. It is hell.
I bet I would not, especially in August. Ugh. Other than that, thank you guys again for watching for a special PURR Sessions, and we'll see you guys next week, next Friday.
Yeah, because this is in the future.
This is the future, right?
This is the future.
Yeah. I wonder what AEW will fuck up next week. I'll talk about that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
PURR Session signing off, but we ain't saying goodbye. Keeping fans like steel reaching for the sky. Professional wrestling, we'll never let it go. Big cats in the house, bringing the rumble to the show.